All right, friends, it's T-Man. We back with another video on our great friend JasonBlaha. Man, this is gonna be interesting. Yeah, the gym lifting recruiting slave. I wonder how Clyde Michel's doing these days. Hey, Blaha. Anyways, okay, let's review this video by Blaha. Heavy work then pump work is a time-proven strategy for natural bodybuilders. Wow, man, I don't know where the hell he gets this stuff from, but okay, let's see what he says.
Heavy work followed by pump work has been a successful strategy for natural bodybuilders going back all the way to 100 years ago.
Which part? Pump work? You mean doing the concentric exercise? That's the pump work? Eating fake artificial diet carbohydrates? What's the heavy work based on? Is that based on eccentric exercises? Try to eke out some adaptations. Eccentric overload. How do you overload an eccentric exercise? You understand me? How do you get an overload of myonuclei? How do you get an overload of them? How do you overload the eccentric exercise? Can you overload a concentric exercise? Can it be overloaded?
Is a strategy and an approach that has been proven.
What is an eccentric exercise associated with? Oh, muscle damage. What's concentric associated? Well, more force, right? Supposedly force, and you can pump more glycogen in the muscle. For every gram of glycogen, 3 grams of 3 grams of glycogen are drawn between skin and muscle into the muscle. Okay, so what does eccentric exercise do? Oh, it micro damages these muscle fibers. And what do? They repair what? Bigger and stronger. Oh, interesting. That's what it does. It regenerates you. Oh, it's based on regeneration. You get more cells. It's based on nuclear division, right? More nuclei, so you can support further muscle growth and a whole bunch of other things. Wow, that's interesting. But one is based on carbohydrate. The other one is based on protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown, being in an anabolic growth state. See what I try to explain to you? Why would eccentric exercise be superior to concentric? Why would it be superior? Let's see. What can concentric exercises do? Well, they could also give you an adaptation in force production, right? More, androgen receptors, force production, increased testosterone, blah, whatever. Okay. What else does it do? Well, it'll pump this energy into the muscles, this glycogen into the muscles. They'll pump these phony muscles up. They'll get pumped up with this phony glycogen, whatever, these phony muscles, phony muscle growth, whatever you want to call it. It looks like phony muscle growth. It's a storage unit. You're storing glycogen in there, but you misconstrue that as being a muscle growth. Okay, so it's all artificial diet you're eating to artificially induce this glycogen, blah, blah, blah. It's not based on your natural carnivore diet out there in the wild. Okay. What is eccentric associated with? Muscle micro injuries. They repair and remodel bigger and stronger. It's associated with you got to be in an anabolic growth state. So the catabolic hormone is shut off. The catabolic hormone converts to an androgen, so it doesn't have to compete with the myocytic androgen receptor, giving you what? More force production in molecule and whatever strength, blah, 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 blah. Plus, you're bigger and stronger now because you got more muscles and you're anabolic and all these kinds of things. So which one would be more superior? You being in an anabolic growth state, protein synthesis needs to exceed this breakdown in concentric exercises, plus it's associated with repairing and remodeling the muscles bigger and stronger, and an addition of these the myonuclear domain size limit gets bigger, more donation of these nuclei, they synthesize more protein. It's based on nuclear division and more muscle cells. Okay, so what's concentric based on? Glycogen loading and some force production. Oh, wow, that's so great. Yeah.
Effective over and over and over and over and over. And I would argue that it really is the way to go if someone, particularly if they have, no magical supplements in their stack. All right, so if you're doing this completely clean.
Remember, a heavy weight is only going to go in one direction because we live on planet Earth. It's called gravity, a gravitational loading. You know where it goes in one direction? Down. Get it, guy? So you're all trying to pull against gravity. You're pulling in the opposite direction. What does concentric do when you pull in the opposite direction? But when the force comes down on your body and it has to handle this weight coming down, a real heavy weight, what happens? Well, a good majority of the people, if you look in my community, or if you look in my video section, I've already posted some people. I don't post a lot, but you can see some of these fucking dumbass fucking lifters where the weight is landing on the back of their neck or their head or their fucking chest or their neck. Want to know why? Because the downforce. Yeah, gravity. Get it? It's heavy. It's stronger than you are. Get it? Oh, I know. You're going to say you're strong because you're pushing against gravity. Yeah, but guess what? Gravity's a lot stronger than you. That's why it lands on you and kills you.
This is the single best approach you can use to your programming. And so what do I mean by heavy work followed by pump work? I don't mean you have to max out. What I mean is
heavy work followed by pump work, glycogen work, okay?
we need to be doing big, heavy compound movements followed by smaller pump work. So examples you'll see in this video.
Okay, so for him, full body is heavy work, and then doing these the accessory work, people call it accessory, I don't know. Isolation work is pump work. Okay, yeah, okay.
And it doesn't mean I did this exercise immediately, right? I didn't always do it immediately because sometimes there's multiple exercises.
I got a question for you. How do you make a forearm and a bicep and a tricep stronger? How do you make it stronger? Do you do like lifting a heavy weight off the floor? Do you do like deadlifting off the floor? Will the deadlift make the forearm and the tricep and bicep a lot bigger and stronger? You understand what I'm trying to explain to you? I'm not saying that it because you're grabbing the weight, it's not gonna become. It may get a little bit stronger for sure. It's got to handle the weight, you pulling it up, whatever you're doing there. But how do you get it to be really super strong and super whatever especially in an arm wrestling match? By doing this so-called what you call accessory work. You're not really doing a whole lot there. You're pulling with the arm, but you're not really getting more adaptations in that forearm. That's why when you see people doing like this guy just was showing like some stuff about pronation. Why do they do all these pronation works? They do arm wrestlers do so much pronation work. It's crazy because they're trying to eke out what? A new adaptation out of what? Out of each of these fucking pronation fucking things that they're doing. Get it, bro? And you can't do that by just lifting a weight off the goddamn floor, heavy weight. That's why you have small forearms. If you want to be super strong and strong at arm wrestling, you need massive forearms, guy. You need to eke out adaptations. Yeah, man.
Sizes between, but like right there, you saw me doing a back squat. Back squat, with medium reps, and then I go to a high rep sissy squat. That's the next exercise. And these are not done. I'm not saying you do these as a superset. I'm saying over the course of a workout. All right, so on a leg day.
All right, I like sissy squats. They're great. I don't see anything wrong with what he's doing here. I'm not saying this is wrong. I'm saying he's adapted. What do you need to do now to get another adaptation out of this exercise? That's something you need to figure out.
This was, I did squats, and then I go to the sissy squat next. Of course, and then after that, I do like extensions and other stuff for my quads. All right, this is a perfect example. Up here next, you'll see in the rotation, you will see me doing weighted chin-ups. Again, a big, heavy exercise for the lats and the biceps. Now, obviously, I do more for the lats than just this, but just showing as an example because it is technically a bicep exercise. All right, so you see that, and then you see me doing, here in the rotation coming up, I've got a clip of me doing one-arm preacher curls, okay? And then after that, we have closed grip easy bar curls. So what's going on here? You're seeing big work followed by smaller pump refinement work. All right, because what we need to remember, these big exercises is where we get most of our overall size. And it's where we get most of our overall size. And having heavy...
The pump work is where you get your overall size because you're pumping a mass. You're getting a lot of fake mass, fake Strength, fake mass, sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. Oh man, this is funny.
Progressive overload on those is going to be your primary driver of hypertrophy.
Progressive overload is going to be your primary hypertrophy. How do they hypertrophy? Because you just lifted a weight. Boy, I know so many people in the gym that lift weights and are never growing. I tried to tell you, everything works in the beginning and then it stops working. There are so many things that are going against you. Just have no clue, man.
Sorry, but when people have tried to say volume is the primary driver, it just does not seem to be true. It's not the case. Because if that was the case, people wouldn't be just as big who do, moderate reps, really hard, really heavy with progressive overload and lower volumes. Because you see it all the time, and that's a successful strategy. And I'm not saying the higher volume strategy doesn't work. What I'm saying is volume can't be the driver of hypertrophy. Unless we mean, we can't.
Volume can't be the driver of hypertrophy. The driver of sarcoplasmic hypertrophy is glycogen. The driver of myofibrillar growth is muscle micro damages, yes, and nuclear division, hyperplasia, nuclear division, and the addition of these muscle cells through hyperplasia. Yeah, that's the driver of that hypertrophy. You understand me? Myofibrillar hypertrophy. The driver of it is the nuclear division, the addition of these myonuclei, and the cells in the repair and the remodeling. There's cells and they have to repair and remodel bigger and stronger, yes. And you get an addition sometimes of more fibers. It depends. There are 3 stages in muscle damage. There isn't just one stage. Community section, long time ago, did videos on it, my God.
Can't just do one rep, obviously, right? You need multiple sets and multiple reps if you want to stimulate significant hypertrophy. But mechanical tension is a big deal. And then we come over to, again, overall efficiency, right? You're not going to stand around doing small pump work as your primary training modality. It would take you forever to do that for every muscle, and you would end up being weaker. So the big movements are our base building. So like you've seen here so far, the squats and the chins, and I've got bench press coming up next, right? So those are 3 movements. Obviously that doesn't hit the posterior chain as hard and hamstrings.
Well, lifting heavy will weaken you for sure.
But take those 3 movements. If you did bench pressing, weighted chins, and squats and got really good at them, you'd have a pretty good amount of muscle mass through your overall body.
So then why don't you have it, Blaha? If you're doing all those things like you say, these were the things that get you all this muscle mass and muscle and all that, then why aren't you doing them? Why are you failing? Why aren't you getting any muscle or mass or getting anything on you? Why aren't you doing any of these things if they work so well?
We'll get back to that in a minute. And I've got one more example in here before we discuss that idea further. So I'm doing some bench pressing here, and this is obviously not that heavy because I'm doing sets of 10.
Right.
Nice, strict, wide grip, long range of motion bench, no arch, pausing on the chest. This is a big movement. Works the chest primarily, but it works front delts.
It is. It's very big movement, yes.
Definitely works triceps. And then afterwards, you see me doing...
It works them. Does it damage them? I don't know.
An incline extension. I'm on an incline bench at a fairly tall incline, so it's almost a similar angle to just a behind the head extension, right? But what are we doing here? Working the triceps from a different angle. This is
the reason why Blaha doesn't pose. Is that's the reason right there. Look, this is the reason why Blaha doesn't pose, because look, he has no arms, he has no lats, and he has no chest. When he puts his arms up in the air and he flexes, if he flexes, all of you are gonna be like, hey, you don't have any muscle, bro. Because look, this is him flexing right there, bro. That's Blaha flexing right there. You understand me? He's the flexing slave, get it? He's a flexing slave, bro. Look at him. Yeah.
Get a lot of the benefits of the smaller work. Because you would look at that bench press, and we know the bench press builds the lateral head of the tricep extremely effectively. It can leave a lot to be desired for the long head, which is the biggest head. An exercise like this.
He has absolutely zero muscle. This is just his normal average look. And it's unnatural because it's an unnatural it look because it's being destroyed by this unnatural diet is causing it to look it him looking unnatural is because the diet is unnatural, so it causes this unnatural destruction, this destroying look of his, looking destroyed. Get it? He looks destroyed, diminished, destroyed.
This works on three heads too, but much more focus on that long head. That one that really gives you that size from the side. Right? When someone turns to the side and you see that big thick tricep back there, it's coming from that long head by the armpit. All right. So again, doing our pump work to fill in the gaps. Big compounds followed by either smaller compounds or isolation that fill in the weak links and work those muscles, further get all those deep fibers or heads of the muscle that maybe get under-trained. But, the perfect example, you see these three big exercises, a back squat, a bench press, a weighted chin-up.
Yeah.
Could a person get reasonably big on those three movements? Of course, they'll build a big base on you. But then what all these other exercises, do they really fill in the gaps?
Do they?
Right? There's a couple types of curls there, working the biceps from different angles. You see a tricep extension in there that will work the triceps from a very different angle of the bench press, completely different emphasis. Okay? Doing a back squat, but then you see me doing a sissy squat. Again, get a nice deep stretch on the quad, much lighter weight, easier to recover from. All right, so this is the idea. Big movements give us efficiency. They let us work a lot of muscles with a lot of weight and build a good, solid base. The problem is, of course, we can only handle so much of them. We can't always reach our best volumes off of them because they're hard on recovery and they're big movements, they're heavy. So we can only handle so much of it. So then if we need to refine everything else and say, well, I have whole heads of muscles that didn't get fully worked. Maybe I have some deeper fibers missing. I need some additional size in these places, right? Bench press isn't giving me everything I need in the chest and triceps. Right? The chin-up may not be giving me everything I need in the biceps and lats. So we come through and we do this pump work. Obviously with lighter weights, most of the pump work that I tend to do is going to be 10 plus reps. And I like the big movements, about, 5 to 10. But yeah, a lot of the smaller movements, 10 plus reps. You come in and pump those muscles. We work angles with strict exercises that work those heads and functions and muscle fibers that we best on the big movements so that we get more complete development. All right. When you look back historically, this is the system that's worked. And when you deviate from it, people usually get less results. In other words, if you only do the small movements, you don't grow as much. If you only do the big movements, you don't grow as much. This has been found studying bench press versus extensions, right, in the triceps and chest. If you do the small movements first, you grow less. The lab has confirmed this.
If you do the small movements, you grow less? Man, why do you grow less if you do a small movement? What makes it grow less? Any explanation there, Blaha? Please.
Let's figure this out long before we had the ability to even measure muscle growth inside the lab. They figured this out. So again, this sort of...
Blaha never gives any explanations as to what is the growth you're getting there, what are you doing, what are you getting, why shouldn't you do eccentric exercise, why this, why heavy work, why pump work, what's pump work, what does pump work do, what does it build, what does it grow, what does it do for you exactly, what is it from, what is it made from, what is pump work, what does it do exactly? What does it create? What does pump work create? And then he says something about heavy work. Okay, what does heavy work create? What are the adaptations of heavy work? And what are the adaptations of pump work? What is that based on? What's it based on? What does it do exactly? No explanation whatsoever.
System works. It's time.
It seems like he's explaining something, but it's all like misdirection somewhere else.
All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today.
It's been time proven? What's time proven?
I hope it's been
Why is it time proven?
informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.
Man, this lifting slave, I'm telling you, it's crazy. The slave doesn't know anything about anything. He needs to go back to his master. Maybe the master can tell him what it's for. I don't know, man. I can't help this guy. Anyways, tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Helps with the algorithm, friends. Yes, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, friends. That was amazing. Yeah.